Why use symbols for AAC? 3.2.
One of the long-standing myths in AAC implementation is that the symbols we use are learned in a hierarchy. Some people think that learners must be able to identify real objects first, then photos, before introducing icons or representative symbols. Actually, symbols are learned when used consistently and in meaningful ways. Don't believe me? Think of the cultural and media symbols such as the golden arches or YouTube icon. Just about every child I know, age 2 or older, who has had experience with McDonald's or YouTube knows those symbols. So modeling AAC on a symbol-based system can also be described as teaching the language of symbols. For AAC learners, language and symbol learning are intertwined. This learning happens over time by making associations based on the image, color, location, and use of a symbol. It's a cumulative experience. Please hear this. Mastery of symbol identification and matching exercises are not prerequisites for accessing symbols for language.
Because so much of language is abstract and difficult to represent with an icon or symbol, symbols may be described as transparent, translucent, or opaque. A chair is a good example of a transparent symbol. Its meaning is readily understood and unlikely to be mistaken for something different. Go is an example of a translucent symbol. There is room for interpretation, but the association reasonably makes sense. That is an example of an opaque symbol. It cannot be clearly translated into an image to represent its meaning. Images require explanation to be understood. Notably, both McDonald's arches and the YouTube icon are opaque symbols. Just as we benefit from talking about the features of symbols to understand their representation, many AAC learners learn about symbols when we discuss them. For example, when looking at icons for like, we might say, "We smile when we like something." "I know you like a game when I see you smile." Everyone likes a sunny day. The sun is also smiling.
When teaching the language of symbols, well-established symbol sets such as BoardMaker, Symbol Sticks, MinSpeak, Smarty symbols, or any other consistent and familiar symbol set gives us ready access to a vast number of words to build language. They are more than just a photo library. Now that we've come to an understanding of the importance of symbols and building language with AAC, let's look a bit closer at the myth that led us here. Let's take a moment and explain the role of real objects and photos in communication and interactions. Real objects are part of the natural environment and can be leveraged to teach the meaning of symbols without being part of an AAC system. If an AAC learner is expressing a request by gesturing to a real object, or you're offering choices with real objects, great. That's efficient and natural. Don't hijack that interaction by making your learner say it with AAC. Rather, you might follow up with AAC. You can use AAC to repeat and expand. For example, if you offer a banana and an apple, and they reach for or look at the apple, give them the apple. Then model, "You like apples," or "Apples are so good" with AAC. That is how you embed an opportunity to teach language of symbols.
Next up, photos. Now, many learners are very interested in photos. They look at them, hold them, and will show them to others. That's great. Let's build communication opportunities around photos. But for the purposes of symbol representation, it's important to understand the limitations of photos. First, collecting and managing photos is a cumbersome approach to creating and customizing AAC. Second, photos are very specific and can therefore impose limitations on meaning. For instance, some learners may interpret a picture of a cup as their cup instead of cups in general. Third, visual complexity may make it difficult for some learners to process all of the information in the photo. Complexity can make it unclear what the photo is supposed to represent. Lastly, photos inherently limit access to language because only concrete items are accurately represented by photos. Photos can capture a ball or a shirt, but not catch or on or fun. Because icons are not a real representation, elements such as arrows or enlarged characteristics are employed to highlight features or emphasize an element to provide more universal meaning. For a small percentage of learners, photos may be useful short-term to teach that two-dimensional representations refer to things they know. In other words, symbols have meaning and can be used for communication, but you will want to pair those photos with icons and quickly transition away from photos to an icon-based system.
In summary, icons are needed to build language. They are the necessary symbol representation to give depth and breadth to AAC language systems. Symbols are learned through meaningful use and in natural contexts. This teaches words as well as how and when to use them. Some explicit instruction of symbols with more concrete representations may enhance symbol learning in the early stages, but it should be paired with icons to transition to a more robust icon-based system that will grow with the AAC learner and support lifelong language.